How strong is a lion compared to other big cats? You know him as the king of the jungle, the lion. He's one of 7 big cats in the world, and he is the largest cat roaming the continent of Africa. But does bigger always mean stronger? Not necessarily. So, how does the lion compare to other big cats when it comes to strength? Are there other big cats in Africa that are stronger than him? And what about the other continents of the world? What big cats actually pose a threat to the lion? The lion. First, let's make ourselves acquainted with the lion. Be careful not to get too acquainted or too close, because the lion is one of nature's most perfect killing machines in comparison to all the other animals alive today. Lions are found throughout much of sub-Saharan Africa, from South Africa all the way north to places like Chad and Nigeria. They are apex predators. They don't really have to worry about any other animals besides people, poachers specifically. They share Africa with many other predators, but they are the largest. Lions typically grow between 6 and 8 feet long, meaning if one were standing up, the shortest ones would still be taller than most people, and their weight is typically between 350 and 500 pounds. Trust us, that isn't useless weight, that isn't fat, it's nearly pure muscle. The perfect example of that is if we examine a lion when running, because they can hit top speeds of 50 miles per hour. They're ambush predators, so they aren't about endurance, but if an animal that big can run that fast, whatever or whoever it is chasing, they're in trouble. And a lion's size isn't just wasted space. He's not like the guy at the gym with show muscles, because those things really work. They take down enormous animals that many other animals wouldn't consider prey, like zebras, wildebeest, and buffaloes. To top it all off, they have a bite force of 650 psi. Those are strong jaws built to take an animal's life force right out. So, who will be the lion's first challenger? The leopard. As we mentioned, there are 7 big cats in the world. So if we match the lion up against the rest of them, then he will have 6 big cats to take on. The first big cat we are comparing the lion to is one that he's likely tangled with plenty of times. That would be the leopard. The leopard is an interesting big cat in that it is so versatile. They can be found in deserts and also in tropical rainforests, complete opposite climates. They're found all over Asia and Africa, which is why we assume leopards and lions have battled before. They're both fighting over the same food, but leopards are much smaller. They're typically between 3 to 5.5 feet long, so even the largest leopard isn't going to be as long as the smallest lion, and their weight tends to range between 80 to 160 pounds. Still, a 5 foot long, 160 pound carnivorous cat is a scary thing for a human to see, but they're half to 1/3 of the weight of a lion in most cases. However, they are strong for their size. Even weighing in at 160 pounds, they can still drag a 275 pound carcass of their recently killed prey, and they can pull about 220 pounds up into a tree, which is what they typically do with their killed prey. Their fast twitch muscles allow them to leap 10 feet high and cover 20 feet in a single bound. They pack a big punch in their smaller frame. If matched up against an animal the same size as them, they'd have a distinct advantage. The problem is, the lion is strong for his size as well, and his size is much larger. Leopards also can run about 36 miles per hour and have a bite force of around 300 psi. Slower and with a weaker bite, the leopard is not nearly as strong as the lion. So we know the lion still holds his throne in Africa if he's matched up against a leopard. The snow leopard. Many people think a snow leopard is a type of leopard, and we can't blame them for thinking so, but that's not the case. It's just a name that confuses us. A snow leopard is actually an entirely different species of cat. In fact, it's more closely related to a tiger than it is to a leopard. Confusing name aside, it does explain to us about where they live, typically in the snow. Snow leopards are always found at high altitudes, areas prone to getting a lot of snow. They like rocky, steep cliffs and mountains in Central and Northern Asia, including the Himalayas. Lions may have battled with leopards many times. It's almost a certainty a lion and a snow leopard have never thrown down. Snow leopards are longer than leopards, about 5 to 7 feet in length. However, their weight is roughly the same, about 60 to 170 pounds. So they're less stocky like the leopard and more slim and sleek. Like all cats, they're ambush predators, but they also have some endurance, oftentimes covering 25 miles in a single night. They essentially run marathons once the sun goes down. They can hit up to 40 miles per hour and have a bite force of almost 500 psi. Faster than a leopard, stronger bite than a leopard, longer than a leopard, similar weight. Snow leopards are strong for their size, but they aren't built the same way a leopard is. They're more like Olympians. Besides their marathon running, they can also leap about 30 feet in one jump. But if they squared up against a lion, that lion would still have them outgunned. Trust us, you, a human, do not want to fight a snow leopard. You would lose every time. But if a snow leopard fights a lion, he will likely lose every time. So, those snow leopards better stay up there at high elevations. Avoid the lions at all costs. The cheetah. Now we're heading back to Africa for another familiar foe of the lions, the cheetah. The cheetah and his exploits are known across the world as he is the fastest land animal alive today, hitting explosive speeds of 70 miles per hour. When a cheetah picks out an animal as his prey, there isn't a whole lot that animal can do. Cheetahs are world-class sprinters and plan on hunting down their prey in a short amount of time. They're built like explosive runners, thin, sleek, and agile. They got muscles too, but they're a different kind of muscles. Cheetahs tend to be between 3.5 and 5 feet long and weigh between 50 and 160 pounds. So we have another big cat which is around the same size and weight, and subsequently smaller than the lion. A cheetah has a bite force of about 500 psi, also less than that of a lion. Interestingly, they have a similar BFQ, which stands for bite force quotient, which is something that takes bite force and power of the bite relative to the size of an animal into account. The BFQ lets you know how strong an animal's bite is for its size. A cheetah's BFQ is 119, whereas a lion's BFQ is 112. What does that tell you? If you had a cheetah and a lion that were the same size, the cheetah could stand a chance because he'd have a stronger bite. But cheetahs and lions are never the same size. Cheetahs in Africa know to avoid the lions because every single time that lion will be bigger and stronger and would just totally manhandle him. Maybe that's why cheetahs got so good at running fast. The cougar. Let's head to the Americas to meet the cougar, a big cat that's quite accustomed to the lands of North America. In fact, the cougar is the only big cat in North America nowadays, as another big cat that we'll get to in a moment rarely makes the trip past Central America. But speaking of cougars, they're similarly sized to the other big cats we've talked about, typically between 3.5 and 6 feet long, and they're usually between 120 and 160 pounds, but occasionally they can get closer to 200 pounds and even exceed 7 feet in length. This tells us a lot about how they're built, stockier than some of these other big cats. But don't go thinking they're slow. They can hit speeds of up to 40 to 50 miles per hour. They are excellent jumpers, able to leap 15 feet up a cliff to reach a raised area. They are strong felines, taking down animals much larger than themselves and finishing the job with a vicious bite force of 750 psi. So, if a cougar was able to get in close to a lion and hit it with its strong bite, it could do some damage. But even the biggest cougars still are outweighed and outmuscled by the lions. They may be strong for their size, but the lion is still stronger. Stay over there in North America, Mr. Cougar. The lion is stronger than every competitor we've thrown at him so far. The jaguar. Let us head south to Central America and South America, where the jaguar reigns as king. You don't see them in North America much anymore, but they are still the largest cat in all of the Americas and the third largest cat in the world. They're usually 4 to 6.5 feet long and can weigh up to 350 pounds. That's more than twice as much as the averages of all the past cats we talked about. However, it still is just barely bumping up against the minimum weight of full-grown lions. Jaguars are fast jungle cats, able to hit speeds of up to 50 miles per hour, just like a lion. Jaguars are extremely strong cats, able to take down animals that are 3 and 4 times their own weight. And that bite force, forget about it. The bite force of a jaguar is 1500 psi. That is the 5th strongest of any living animal that doesn't live exclusively in the water, the 7th strongest of all animals, and it is the strongest bite of any cat, period. The bite is more than twice as strong as that of a lion's. So a jaguar could do some damage against a lion, and he could hold his own, and he is incredibly strong, but the lion's strength is still greater than that of the jaguars. Most lions would be larger, so they'd have the upper hand, but if we took the biggest jaguar and a smaller adult lion, it would be a close match. It could go either way. A lot like a battle with our next contestant, the tiger. Including the lion, we observed 6 of the 7 big cats. The only one left is the tiger. Tigers are found all up and down Asia. Jaguars are the 3rd largest cat, lions are the 2nd largest, and tigers are the largest. They range in size across the subspecies, but the biggest tigers can range anywhere from 7 to 10 feet long and can weigh between 400 and 700 pounds. As you can see, we have a little overlap. Yes, there are times that lions are bigger than tigers, but more often the tiger is longer and heavier and more muscular. Tigers are revered as also being the strongest living cat, able to take down prey twice their size, possessing strong bodies, and can even stand on their hind legs, which, if they were battling a lion, could be an advantage. Tigers can hit speeds of up to 40 miles per hour, so the lion has them beat there. We wouldn't shrug off the speed advantage. A lion could use that to his advantage. But if the two are in close quarters with one another, we give the edge to the tiger. He is just stronger. And one last thing, his bite force may not be equal to that of the jaguar, but with a bite force of 1050 psi, the tiger is good enough to be in the top 20 of strongest bites in the animal kingdom, number 2 among cats, and most importantly, stronger than the bite of a lion. Lucky for our 3 biggest cats, they remain on different continents. Lions have taken over Africa, jaguars have claimed stake in South America, and tigers rule over Asia. Keeping these big cats separated by large swaths of land and gigantic oceans is in the best interest of everyone. We can keep the jewels to a minimum. The lion may not be as strong as the tiger, but make no mistake about it, the lion is the king of Africa.